Unfortunately, we don't have services that they used to have for mentally ill people in terms of dealing with them. And I think
all right, like I said, we're going to get over to the left side of media. Van Jones, the right is race mongering in light rail murder. The right is race mongering. No, they're not race mongering. Some people on the right is race mongering. Those who are a little bit more extreme, like our Nick Fuentes and all that good stuff, yeah, those guys are race mongering like a mug. They race mongering. But mostly everybody is kind of highlighting the whole, yo, this is why you shouldn't have Cassius bail. Why was this guy let out 4 times? Like, I kind of like the guys who have that argument because it kind of goes to shows like, bro, it doesn't matter what color this guy is. Anybody with this type of history that you just let out multiple times is going to commit a heinous crime eventually.
Unfortunately, we don't have services that they used to have for mentally ill people in terms of dealing with them. And I think the problem here is, I'm guessing the Trump administration was looking for an example. This video was quite disturbing. You have the combination of social media at the same time blowing it up, and so it creates sort of the perfect storm to point to something. Just like when Dukakis, when he was running for president, Lee Otler took advantage of that one incident that was terrible, that was very troubling for voters once they called attention to it.
So certain people have been looking for an opportunity to find a case like this, to make a point like this. I want to play, this is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a lot of attention.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously.
Yo, whoa, Charlie. No, it wasn't because she wasn't murdered because she was white. She was murdered because she was there. Like, we don't even know this guy's mental health. Just to sit there and say that he killed this white lady just because she was white, like, bro, we don't know that. Actually, I've been looking into it quite extensively, and to be honest, yeah, he hasn't really given out no real motive. He didn't just stab her because, oh, there's some whitey sitting in front of me. No, trust me. Or he'd have been stabbed, or he'd have stabbed 100 people before he even met the train. If it was all about killing white people.
If a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a
but I will agree with him on that. Like, if it was the other way around, it would damn near be like another BLM riot in the streets.
White woman gets stabbed to the death.
Wow. He said white a lot.
Well, we are talking about it here, so I guess I mean, I don't think that's fair. Look, being in the system, because I have represented people who are mentally ill, and here's the balance. The balance is taking away.
Like, hold on, is there any proof that she killed that man? That the guy killed her because she was white? It could have just been because a guy had bad mental health. Like I said, he has a history of bad mental health, in and out of jail, and he just stabbed this lady unprovoked. No history behind it or nothing. Like, I don't think he stabbed her because she was white. But hey, if you guys know something that I don't, please link it to me. Link it to me. Give me a website, please. Prove me wrong.
People's freedom versus evaluating their mental illness. And New York City, there are a lot of programs for people who are mentally ill, but they have to want to be there.
Yeah, and it's about forcing them to be there. When you are mentally ill, you have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill. But also, people like Charlie Kirk, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
Let me just say a couple of things. One is, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad is going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that.
Exactly, none.
Race mongering.
And I hate agreeing with Van Jones. I hate agreeing with this man, but he is right though. Like, there is no proof, and I looked into it extensively because even I'm trying to go like, yo, why'd he stab this lady? Like, is there and everybody's saying it's unprovoked? They have no history and nothing. Bro just sat there, looked like he was off some drugs, and he was moving around fidgeting. He just gets up and stabs the young lady. Like, it's very sad. I hate to see it, but I can't just sit there and say he did it because she was white. Like, sorry, but there is no proof of that. And anybody who's trying to say that is race mongering. Like, y'all literally are like race mongering against black people, and that's not what it is. Like, let's leave that out of conversation until it's proven.
It's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had happened,
this bastard still needs to be put under the jail. He still needs to go to jail for the rest of his goddamn life. But let's just not create fake rhetoric.
The way there would be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. Even when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level. So I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing is, you mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people. What happened was horrible, but it becomes an opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons. And then for someone like Charlie Kirk, he should be ashamed of himself. No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him. What people mention is the horror of what happened to this young woman.
No, Van Jones. Everybody was jumping on a race card. Trust me, everybody was jumping for it. It was kind of crazy. But let's see what the right side of media got to say about this.
Irina Zarutska boarded a train at 10 o'clock at night in Charlotte, but she never made it home. She left in a body bag with knife wounds to the neck. Viewer discretion, the surveillance footage is graphic. We have it, and we're going to cut out of it just the second before she gets stabbed.
And everybody
Irina was a Ukrainian refugee. She just finished her shift working at a pizza place. She was wearing her work uniform. She gets on the train, sits in front of a black male in a red hoodie. 4.5 minutes later, the man pulls a knife from his pocket, unfolds it, and begins to plunge it into the 23-year-old's neck. Irina was slashed 3 times and left for dead. After the murder, the killer was seen wandering through the train. Still,
like, bro, this man looked high off his ass. He looked like he was sleeping, woke up, and just spazzed out.
After the murder, the killer was seen wandering through the train, still clutching the bloody knife, leaving a trail of blood. Killer then took off his bloody hoodie and walked off the train like nothing happened. Irina fled Ukraine in 2022 when Putin started bombing, but she died in North Carolina, riding public transportation. Here was the president just this morning.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning or last night in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic. Just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible, but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
What kind of monster stabs a woman to death? His name's DeCarlos Brown, 35 years old. He's homeless, and he's been arrested 14 other times. Felony larceny, robbery with a dangerous weapon, assault, shoplifting, public threats. He was sentenced to 7 years for armed robbery. And when he was out on parole, he was arrested for beating up his own sister. But he was never sent back to prison. Earlier this year, he got in more trouble.
Beat up his own sister. Okay, then. I mean, see? I mean, he ain't do it because, I mean, he beat up a black woman, basically. This man's just a violent man.
He's been arrested 14 other times. Felony larceny, robbery with...
And the worst part is, I mean, bro don't even look violent.
With a dangerous weapon, assault, shoplifting, public threats. He was sentenced to 7 years for armed robbery. And when he was out on parole, he was arrested for beating up his own sister. But he was never sent back to prison. Earlier this year, he got in more trouble, this time for faking 911 calls. But the judge released him on no cash bail. He was placed on...
And shout out to my man, Hellbat. He's like, I like that racist jokes are on the rise, though. Yeah, I know, right? Me too. Maybe we can scroll down and see some heavily offensive racist jokes on my Twitter. Might just do it for the one time.
This should be a national story, but it's not. A beautiful, innocent Ukrainian refugee was murdered in cold blood in an American city. And the mainstream media has been silent. We're accepting refugees like Irina because they'll be killed if they stay in Ukraine. This is legitimate case for asylum, unlike the scams at the southern border. Democrats told us people like Irina are special.
I've announced 2 days ago we will welcome 100,000 Ukrainian refugees.
Our collective responsibility to ensure the safety and well-being of these refugees.
We have a moral responsibility in the world, as every other country does too, to receive refugees who have a well-founded fear of persecution or harm to return to their own country.
Now, if you have a moral responsibility to receive a refugee like Irina, don't you have a moral responsibility to say something when she's murdered? When you can't protect her? Nancy hasn't said a thing. Outside of North Carolina, no Democrat has. Every politician in the country had something to say the last time surveillance cameras caught a death on a train. The Daniel Penny case was a national sensation. And usually when a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman gets killed, the media goes wall to wall. Gabby Petito, Natalie Holloway, the Idaho sorority sisters. Why not this time? The Democrat mayor of Charlotte says we should show the killer compassion. Tragic incidents like these should force us to look at what we are doing across our community to address root causes. We will never arrest our way out of issues such as homelessness and mental health. Root causes is what you say to make yourself look deep, but really it's just a dodge.
Now, I would have to push back on the right for saying, I mean, that's what y'all kind of use every time somebody shoots somebody with a gun, it's mental health. So how come when somebody commits this heinous crime, y'all try to make it about race instead of, mental health? I mean, it's a bit wild, but
like Kamala, the borders are. After the Charlotte City Council held a meeting on the murder, the ate cake. Mayor Lyles stopped the proceedings and threw a birthday party for a member of the city council. The governor, Josh Stein, waited until today to say Irina's name, 2 weeks after she got stabbed to death. But when he was attorney general and George Floyd died, he started a task force.
The Task Force for Racial Equity and Criminal Justice will consider and implement measures that can bring about meaningful change to the criminal justice system.
You know what that task force did? It reimagined policing and created alternatives to arrests, and of course eliminated cash bail for a whole host of crimes. They even hired a DEI consultant to make sure black convicts don't serve too much time.
All right, so I did get a little bit more background information on this guy. What's his name is DeCarlos Brown Jr. That's the guy who unalived that young lady. So pretty much there was this judge, Teresa Stokes. So she is a DEI judge. She's a judge who granted this man I guess, what's the right word for it? No, I would say gave him a bit of grace. He has a career crime history. He's a career criminal, but obviously he has some mental issues. And she wanted to get him taxpayer paid treatment at her principal recovery services. My bad, not principal, but Pinnacle. Sorry, Pinnacle Recovery Solution Services. So pretty much she was trying to make money off this man's mental problem. So she let this man back out on into the streets, thinking that, this guy was going to come to her Principal Recovery Services. But he didn't. Nope. He continued living homeless. He continued being homeless and, being a criminal. So yeah, that plan kind of backfired against her.
Now, a white woman gets slashed to death by a schizophrenic black ex-con, and the media is blaming the cameras. Quote, the video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media, a visual counterpoint to statistics showing crime decreases. Ah, yeah, the video of a murder is making it harder for them to convince you crime's down. Brian Stelter says it's racist to share the video.
It's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration. I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist. stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like X today.
And I wish he wasn't right. I wish bro wasn't right, but he's not wrong. The open racism that's going on right now, they're trying to call for the death penalty, but I'm just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he should probably get life in jail, but the death penalty, nah, they're not going to give that to him, especially due to his mental health. He's probably going to just, sadly for my guys who want to see this guy die, he's just going to get life in jail, which he deserves. But let me see, as I'm going down the list here, yeah, I'm not really finding anything about him attacking her because she's white, but hold on. I did find something about him pretty much walking through the subway saying, I got that white girl, and him saying it very, sluggish. Like I said, it just seems like he was high and just spazzing out.
It's eye-popping.
So CNN is complaining that people are bringing up race. CNN brings up race in cooking segments.
Oh, crap. And my bad, guys. My bad. I was kind of just looking too hard into what this guy was doing. I really wanted to find out, was this race motivated? Maybe I missed something. But shout out to my man Monty says, why does it look like he got lighter over the past years? Well, over the years, yeah. Well, I mean, hey, bro, that's what mentally ill does to you. And that's what the hella drugs do to you, too. I mean, you ever seen a meth head from day one and at the end of his days, all weight loss, face all sunk in? It happens. And shout out to my man Daniel Castro, ban all knives, boo-hoo, knives kill, not people. Good point. And people with terrible mental health as well. And shout out to my man Monty for the baller alert, because now he didn't open the call-in line. Shout out to my man Monty. There's a difference between mental health and the gun control argument. And mental health as an excuse for violence is, I'm going to be real with you, that is wild and is wildly unacceptable. That's why I said he still should go to jail and face all the consequences. All the consequences in the world, because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like to hear this, but you are responsible for your mental health. Like, I know bad things happen, but you are also responsible for your mental health, so you don't go out there hurting other people. I know a lot of people don't want to hurt other people, but if you don't fix your mental health, you might end up doing that, either emotionally hurt people or physically. And hopefully you do it emotionally, not physically, because you go to jail for one of them.
CNN not reporting this.
Oh, and shout out to my man Hellbay, said there was a 9/11 call about a black man jumped in a zoo cage to pick a fight with a gorilla. When the cops arrived, they started yelling, which one is he? They started, bro. Oh shit, bro. Hellbat, too soon, brother, too soon. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and post the call-in link. Give me about 5 minutes.
Story is actually what's racist. This isn't just a one-off. In Philly over the weekend, a woman was just executed in broad daylight, just blocks from the Liberty Bell.
A woman is gunned down and killed in Center City, Philadelphia. Police say it was just before 6 o'clock near 11th and Chestnut Streets. Investigators say the woman was rushed to the hospital where she died a short time later. Police say they do have a suspect in custody, but are not yet releasing their identity. Police working to piece together what led to this fatal shooting.
In Chicago this weekend, 18 shot, 6 killed. What does everything have in common? Black suspects, career criminals who keep catching breaks by the justice system. In Washington, D.C., the average homicide suspect has 11 prior arrests.
That's true.
People with that many priors are telling society, if you don't incarcerate me,
so true.
It's only a matter of time before someone dies.
Yep.
But cities would rather run these ex-cons through rehab programs and get rich.
That's what's so irritating about like these murders in the street, because it's like, hold on, bro, you have a history of crime, and somehow, some way, you are still out here able to commit more crime. It's like, well, what do they want you to do? Level up your crime? Like, all right, well, you started out petty theft, now it's grand theft auto, all right, but now you're doing hire for killing, and now you're trafficking children. It's like, what you want them to do? Level up as a criminal? Like, can we just lock them up for years and try to, I don't know, rehabilitate them in prison? I don't know, send that boy to prison for like 20 to 25 years. He might come out Muslim and a better person.
Restorative justice, just another name for saying crime pays. Donald Trump's had enough.
We're all people of religion, but there are evil people, and we have to confront that. When you have horrible killings, you have to take horrible actions.
Now, if we don't confront evil, evil spreads. Just look at history. America needs a true war on crime. bring back 3 strike laws, mandatory minimums. You got to take the discretion out of the hands of these lunatic judges and DAs. But the media would rather wage a war on Trump than a war on crime.
Okay, that's true.
That's fake news. When you say that, darling, that's fake news.
Well, why would you the Department of Defense?
Listen, be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend.
Damn.
That's not war. That's common sense.
Hold on. Damn, I ain't gonna lie. Trump got pretty stern with her. He talked to her like that was his daughter. Like, man.
That's fake news. When you say that, darling, that's fake news.
Well, why would you the Department of Defense?
Listen, be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities.
Yo, Trump,
we're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
Chicago has the most murders of any.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie. Somebody pissed Trump off before he came out. They're like, no, shush, be quiet. I'm like, dang, hold on.
American city for 7 straight years.
Shout out Trump.
The politicians don't want the guard, but the people do.
No, for real. Who done pissed the president off?
I'm from Chicago originally, and I do support that. Chicago is a war zone. I really am in favor of what he's doing in D.C. with it. How can you be more BLM than saving their lives?
But you know that crime is down already.
Yeah, but you also know that it's high. I mean, carjacking, even the mayor said carjacking have went down 86%. Come on.
New York wants it too.
You think we need the National Guard on the streets here?
What?
National Guard on the streets to help with crime.
Maybe more.
You think National Guard or just more police?
More police.
More police.
What about armed military?
I think it's good. If we are going to be safe.
And yeah, and here's the thing though, like this what Don Lemon don't understand about Chicago is that, when you live in Chicago, you understand that, we might need the military out here because these shootings happen in this city area. It leaves the hood of Chicago and look, man, like I said, these guys will come out and get their target wherever their target's at. I don't care if their target's in a rich area in broad day. They do not care. They got their pay. They got the call. There's money on the guy's head and they're going to go out there and shoot him in broad day and they don't care. So yes, the people of Chicago are even saying, bring the National Guard in because maybe these gang members will be less likely to shoot in broad daylight if they see military uniform because they don't give a damn that the cops is there because they shoot at the cops. Yes, they'll commit a broad day drive-by. The cops will chase them and they'll shoot at the cops. So just maybe praying. They might not shoot the National Guard. They might, like Monty says, see that Humvee in the camo and they might, rethink some things. Hopefully.
You're all for it.
Yes.
There are neighborhoods in Chicago more dangerous than Iraq.
Facts.
We shouldn't see women executed in Center City, Philadelphia. And Charlotte should be safer than Ukraine. And we should all agree, riding a train shouldn't be a death sentence. Click here to subscribe to the...
He ain't wrong, though. He ain't wrong. Like I said, it's completely unacceptable what just went down. Completely unacceptable. Hold on there.
The city of Charlotte, North Carolina, now home to one of the most horrific crimes ever.
Oh, the call-in link is posted, guys, in the post tab. So, go ahead and hit that post tab on my main page, on the profile page of S.E.T Media. Appreciate the support, guys.
Caught on camera. 23-year-old Irina Zarutska, seen here, had no idea that when she boarded a commuter train on her way home from her shift at a local pizza restaurant, that it would be the last thing that she would ever do. That is because DeCarlos Brown Jr., a repeat offender, allegedly took her life by stabbing her in the neck with a knife. Now, the city is facing pressing questions over safety and their response to this crime. Charlotte City Council member Edwin B. Peacock III joins me now. Council member, thank you so much for doing just that. Just first want to get your reaction to this horrific crime that has taken place in your city.
We're 18 days from the murder of Ms. Zarutski. Our city is just blown away by what we've seen. Obviously, this is not something that we normally see in the 14th largest city of the United States, and certainly on a light rail system that we're extremely proud of. It's the largest one to be put in place. Opened up in 2007, first one between Atlanta and Washington, D.C. your listeners may not know, but most of our light rail system is above the ground. We don't have any underground subways here. So again, it's shocking and appalling what we've seen.
Oh, wow.
Well, this suspect had 14 prior arrests, and he was out on no bail pending trial at the time of this murder. So obviously the glaring question here, council member, is why was he allowed out into this community to commit this crime in the first?
All right, let's see. First degree murder for killing Ukrainian refugee, felony and larceny, robbery with a dangerous weapon, communicating threats, arrested at least 14 times. I mean, like I said, it was just like your obvious case. Like, we can let a guy like this out into the street. What do you think was going to happen?
First place. And that is a question that's not only coming from me, it's also coming from DeCarlos Brown Jr.'s own mother, who said he is schizophrenic and aggressive. She says the court should have never let her son out in the community, knowing he had mental health issues and previous arrests.
This man was set up for failure. That's literally what happened. He was set up for failure. Let's go here. So let's see. Charged for speeding, communicating threats, and injury to property. Let's see. Dismissed by prosecutors. Well, speeding, communicating threats, injury to property. Okay, well, I've seen that get dropped before. All right, here. Convicted of robbery with a dangerous weapon. Released 6 months early. What? What? Like, bro, I know a guy who got 8 years for that. And he, trust me, I mean, he got the full 8 years. Let's see here, 2024 to 2025, arrested 3 times for misusing 911. So he's a bit of a prankster. August 22nd, charged with first degree murder. Wait, whoa. August 22nd. Whoa. Okay. I don't know how he escaped that, but let's go to April 2014, convicted of felony larceny and breaking and entering, judge suspended sentence. Bro, what? What? No way. He got away with that? Huh. Like, trust me, I know guys from my neighborhood who did this dumbass stuff, and they're still in jail. Still in jail. But all right, now, so let's get over to September 2022. Arrested for assault on a female and injury to property. Okay, so wait, how is he out? This man has multiple cases of assault. Like, he low-key should be in jail for the better part of 10 to 15 already. At least 8. And see here, judge requested mental capacity evaluation. Okay, in July. Yeah, this guy's been ignored throughout his entire criminal career as the actual criminal that he is.
Is this system of cashless bail something that you would like to see changed?
Absolutely. This is a poster child example of someone who's clearly a harm to themselves and harm to others. Our police are doing an excellent job in arresting these types of individuals, but we have a court system that's overwhelmed. We have a North Carolina system that is de-institutionalized individuals that really should have hospitalization and permanent around-the-clock care. I hope this wakes up a conversation.
Can't take nothing away from that man's personal choices when it comes down to, he made those decisions. He has poor mental health, but it should have been up to the justice system to keep him there, find him some rehabilitation, or keep him in jail so he don't hurt nobody else, rehabilitate him, get him that counselor, whatever he needs, instead of just letting him out onto the street. Like, the system failed this man completely, and it failed that lady as well, because they didn't want to take care of this guy. He ended up going out and hurting that young lady. Complete failure of the justice system. But all right, let's get to the next video.
Breaking at this hour, President Trump ramping up threats of immigration crackdowns as well as crime enforcement in major cities across America. Chicago, Boston, and promises from the White House border czar that more cities are coming. This morning, a new city the president is targeting, Baltimore. And Baltimore's Mayor Brandon Scott is vowing to fight back, saying the city does not need federal troops. Listen.
We don't need an occupation. We need a federal government that is working the right way to reduce gun violence, and that's the way that we've been doing it here in Baltimore.
With me now is the mayor of another major American city, Detroit's Mayor Mike Duggan. Mike Duggan. He also is right now running for governor of Michigan, which we will get to. It's great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It has been, we were saying, it's been a moment since I've seen you in person, so I appreciate your time. So you have the mayor. Let's talk about what's going on in Illinois and Chicago. The mayor of Chicago, the governor of Illinois, they're pushing back very hard against these enforcement efforts and the threats coming from President Trump that he's going to be moving in with federal law enforcement. What would you do if you wanted to do the same in Detroit?
Well, of course, neither the president or anybody from the administration has suggested that. When I got elected in 2013, we had 750 carjackings, the most in America.
Right.
This year we'll have fewer than 75. We've been down 90%. Detroit's the city that other police departments are coming to see how we've gotten the violence down. And this year, we've actually had a partnership with the Trump administration. The U.S. attorney that President Trump put in, Jerome Gorgan, has doubled the number of federal prosecutors prosecuting gun crimes. And we are going to have the fewest homicides this year since 1965. I'm not sure what the reason is, but we have the kind of partnership with the Trump administration that Mayor Scott has been looking for in Baltimore. They're working with us prosecuting the gun violence, not trying to disrupt what we're doing.
It's actually really noteworthy, and something I was thinking about knowing that you were coming in is that, I mean, the president has targeted Detroit before. I remember vividly when he was giving a speech during the campaign saying if Kamala Harris wins, that every city in America is going to be just like Detroit, saying that in front of a bunch of people from Detroit.
I mean, let's be real, though. Detroit does have kind of a crime problem, and he's trying to bring jobs and factories back to Detroit. So wouldn't he want to make sure that the crime is kind of cleaned up before these factories feel safe to build there? Like, don't you think we want to fix the crime there before we start, installing businesses there? Like, just think about that.
But and according to FBI stats, Detroit is, while major progress has been made, Detroit is among the cities facing some of the highest crime rates still across the country, according to FBI stats. But again, Detroit has not been mentioned by Donald Trump once this round. Why do you think that is?
So you look at what happened on the 4-day Labor Day weekend, where a lot of cities in the country, you reported, are huge numbers of shootings, one city upwards of 50 shootings. That 4-day weekend, Detroit had 8.